trades and then am 777. What's good, you guys? Welcome to the call, you guys. I am Genesis Patton. I'm your market educator for the evening. This is our market talks. As you log into the call, you guys, drop it in the chat. Where are you calling in from? And let's get those affirmations. Welcome, everybody. Let's get into our evening, you guys. Let's drop the mindsets. Let me see what those affirmations are, you guys. Good evening, Cleveland, Ohio. Welcome. Jacksonville, Florida, and Essex, UK. Welcome. Hey, Vancouver Island. Welcome. Minnesota, welcome. Milwaukee, glad to have you. Financially. No. Mount Vernon, New York, welcome to the building. You can be your own bank and take your time while you're learning it. And not where you reside currently. Good evening, everybody. Drop it in the chat as you're logging in, you guys. Let's get those locations and those affirmations. Run it up, you guys. Milwaukee, welcome. Stop you. Hey, trying to convince you. Drop it in the chat, you guys. I am an educated BYOB master trader, anointed for wealth. I am the signal. All of my trades in the profit. I am 777. Treat yourselves, you guys. Don't cheat yourselves. Drop it in there, you guys. Movement.com. Hey, you can be your own bank and take your time while you're learning it. Hey, not where you reside currently. Baltimore was good. Currency. Own bank, take your time while you're learning it. Yeah. Drop it in there, you guys. Let's see it. Listen to it. Listen. Hey, again, you guys, welcome to the call. As you log in, keep on dropping in the chat. Let's get those affirmations and let's see where you're calling in from, you guys. I cannot express to you enough how important your mindset is to your journey. All right, you guys. Power of a thought is where all of this starts. Everything we experience and now is the result of once what was just a vision, what once was just affirmation, you guys. So make sure you're committing to that first step of the process. Drop it in the chat, write it down on paper, sing it to yourself, just meditate on it. Whatever it takes, you guys, we're coming for a whole shift in your life, all right? And it's going to start in that mindset. We got to change that way of thinking. Like I've told you guys so many times before, poverty does not start in your pockets. It starts in your mind, all right, you guys? Welcome to the call. Now, as we get into this evening, you guys, we seek to return to our syllabus, right? We've had plenty of detours along the way. We've had an intercession by our trade whisperer. She came down to visit us. You know, everybody shout out Miss Tasha M. Dyer, our trade whisperer, the woman who God spoke to with this strategy, you guys, and made it so available to us. Shout out to the visionary Gerald D. Rogers too, for being so committed to that vision, you guys, and that mindset to push this so that we can all benefit from it, right? So again, back to our syllabus. Tonight we're going over stop loss. All right, we've gone over support and resistance. We've covered trend lines, pivots. We even tied them all in together, like how we use them together. All right, we talked about time frame confluence, and psychological levels, you guys. Briefly on the pip count, that's kind of like a more so as we go. All right. But here we are back at our syllabus, you guys, and we are turning to our stop loss. All right. Now, let's not pass up our line key. If I've got anybody that's brand new to the call, drop it in the chat. 111. Drop it in the chat. 111. This is your first time on the call on our market talks. This is your first week. Drop it in the chat, you guys. Represent. We want to welcome you to the family. We want to congratulate you on committing to your future. All right, committing to your why. All right. So for everybody, for everyone, let's go ahead and go over this one more time. Our support and resistance is going to be represented by yellow lines. Our stop loss and invalidation is going to be represented by red lines. Harmonic scanners, our trades are going to be valued in orange on our currency pairs. Now, if we pull up an indice in training, you guys, that orange line is going to be completely different. Okay. But let's just keep on moving forward. You guys that are for all my 222s, drop it in the chat now. If you're here for more of the skill set and for deeper understanding, drop it in the chat 222s, because you guys know what I be talking about, my 9 a.m. classes, how we use those orange lines on our indices, right? Now, our blue line, our light blue lines are going to be our psychological levels, and our purple rays are going to be our pivots. Our white rays are going to be the use of our vibrato triggers. Okay, you guys. Now, I want to reiterate to you our call schedule. We host so many calls, you guys. We are really trying to bring this information to you, and we want to always make ourselves available. All right. And even more importantly, so I want to shout out the Mob Squad, you guys. We be getting together on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays for our clubhouse segment, you guys. Millennials owning banks. All right. That's all we're doing here, you guys, is using our money the same way that banks do. All right. We're not asking anyone's permission for it. All right. There's no need to continue depositing in your savings account and waiting for that to grow without those little increments that they trick you into believing they're blessing you with, right? So get on down and join the conversation with you guys. We want to see you out. All right. We want to see you out. Now, to get further into our announcements, you guys, we've got expos coming back around the corner. Expos coming back around the corner. Let me pause. Everybody keep on dropping those affirmations in the chat. Welcome, Sunrise, Florida. Welcome, man. That's a bunch of 222s. You guys have been getting to work. I love the commitment. New Jersey, welcome, welcome, welcome. Good evening, Chattanooga. What's happening with the 423? Good evening, Milwaukee. Awesome, awesome, awesome. I love to see the activity in the chat, you guys. While we're here, let's go ahead and drop that 777 in the chat for everybody that's been cashing out this week. Go ahead and represent. Let us celebrate you guys, all right? And while you guys are dropping in the chat, I want to bring your attention to this BYOB movement.eventbrite.com. Now, that is BRITE, all right? When you hit that enter button, you guys look at that ocean, all right? We need to have an expo out there on the beach. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? But you guys, even more importantly, so we've got expos coming up on the 21st of May. Now, not only is it on the 21st, but on the 22nd of May, and we'll get into that, right? Milwaukee, Wisconsin, Cleveland, Ohio, and Jacksonville, Florida. The 21st is your day, all right? That's a Saturday, 10 a.m. local time. We're going to have representation near you. So if you can drive there, fly there, take a train, bus, Uber, you know, if you just like one of them power walkers, you can get on and get it. I don't think there's any showers nearby, so I wouldn't suggest it. You know, we're not hosting hygiene facilities at the expos, but whatever it takes to get you, your friends, your family, those you care about, and those that care about you, down to this event, you guys. We're coming for your home. We're coming for your families. We're coming for your hearts. All right. Now, Sunday on the 22nd of May, London. This is your day. Your day. On the 22nd of May at 4 p.m. local time, we're going to have that representation for the movement out there, have access to you guys. All right. So come on down to the website. That's BYOBmovement.eventbrite, BRITE.com, and get registered event. I can't say like legally don't kidnap your friends, but you know, bring them, get them there. What's it going to take? Get these people there. Let's get them exposed. All right. Now, I'm not telling you to go chase down nobody, and start like begging people. Nah, we're not doing that. But what we are trying to do is we want to expose people to this movement. We want to implant this knowledge in their mind. You guys, this is a skill set that's here to stay. It's not going anywhere. All right. And who would you rather your families be presented this opportunity by some random stranger that would take advantage of them, or a movement presented by you that's backed by passion and the authority of the kingdom, right? You guys, come on, when you get a chance, come on down to BYOB movement at LLC.com. That's our homepage, you guys, and get registered for our select prepaid MasterCard. All right. We're offering 5% cash back on purchases over $300 in a month in the United States. Come on, get down, get registered. You know, for those of you guys that, you know, aren't really all about web browsers and everything like that, we've got an app for you. All right. App Store, Google Play Store, whichever one you're privy to. All right. Get on down there. BYOB movement worldwide. We can be downloaded on your phone, you guys. All of this that you can access on the website, and a bunch of what you can access from the YouTube channel is on there too, you guys. Open it up and find out. Okay. Now, for my 111s, I want you coming to this link specifically, that the BYOB success steps. I need you starting right here in the beginning. Okay. We've already got your mind in check. We've set you up and equipped you with the affirmations. I am an educated BYOB master trader anointed for wealth. I am the signal. All of my trades and in profit. I am 777. So let's get into action. All right. Let's get on down to this link. View these top 3 videos. All right. Get into the mind to work and then move forward. All right. Like I told you guys so many times before, we are also represented greatly on YouTube. All right. Search it, BYOB movement worldwide.com, and go ahead and make the subscribe button past tense for us. All right. As you can see, we are streaming live on YouTube. We do so as well on Facebook. All right, you guys. But we just want to bring presence to this site. Go to the playlist section as soon as you get the opportunity. All right. And then start going through our playlist. We've got so much information here for you guys. We just want you to be blessed with the overflow. All right, you guys. Now, specifically, I want to make sure that you're in attendance of this Market Mastery playlist and another playlist when we come on down a little bit titled Market Structure. All right. Market structure is the foundation that Miss Tasha M. Dyer laid out for us about you using market structure. All right. And then here I come along some blessed days on down the road, and then started talking to you guys at the top of the year. And then here's my playlist. All those topics we talked about in that syllabus before, you know, here's where all those are. Equip yourselves, you guys. Be empowered. Okay. You guys, I want to see you keep on dropping in the chat. Let's get dedicated to those mindsets. Orlando, welcome to the call. Welcome, welcome, welcome in Houston, Texas. I'm elated to see all those 777s. And again, let me acknowledge once again how I am honored to be in the presence of such like-minded individuals who would commit their time in the evening to bettering themselves. This is that personal development. All right. Now, if I can have everyone's undivided attention for just a moment.
Martin Luther King Jr. said, "Justice too long delayed, justice denied." Justice comes in many forms. One of the most powerful forms is economic justice. But there cannot be economic justice without an economic engine. That engine is here, and it's coming your way. Stay tuned. Kingdom currency. Our content is intended to be used and must be used for informational purposes only.
You guys stay tuned for a cryptocurrency token in exchange with the social conscious, supporting historically Black colleges and universities, Veterans Affairs, green affordable housing, and church finance. Be your own bank, kingdom currency, you guys. So let's get into this strategy, you guys. We've been talking a lot about here recently about the topic's just been coming up. It seems like it tends to happen when we get close to these events, right? We've been talking stop loss, stop loss, stop loss, stop loss. You know, I think it's been more prevalent here in these past couple of weeks, right? Before we get into that, we're definitely going to make sure we're tapping into our strategy, because like New Type of Money says in the song, all right, you can take your time. You can earn while you wait, I done twisted my tongue now. You can earn while you learn, you guys. That's what I'm trying to say. I tried to be clever there, but the basis of it all is you can profit as soon as you get into this market, as long as you're coachable and you know how to follow directions. All right. Who all of us out there just like open up a box of stuff to put together, and then those directions you just like you throw those somewhere and throw a bunch of your pieces on top there. Like, now I got this. You know what I'm saying? How many of that does that work out for you? How many of you do you end up going back to that book after all? Okay. What I'm expressing to you here is if we can just get in to being coachable, you guys do the monkey see, monkey do, and apply this process. BYOB cash out, as it is copywritten, is a market strategy, you guys. It triggers throughout the day, and it is an opportunity immediately to profit while you're learning. You don't need to have any great understanding about support and resistance, pivots, trend lines, anything that was on that syllabus, as long as you have two eyes and a conscious mind, a little bit of patience, right? BYOB is simply that, you guys, a market strategy. Okay. Now I've got a bunch of arrows and lines over here, really because I just I'm not playing with you when I tell you I'm coming for your heart. I'm coming for your home. I'm coming for your why, you guys. I want you guys empowered by the strategy, and I want you guys in position when it happens. We want to get really great at identifying the trend of the market, the current trends. The current trends are what allow us to enter those buys and those sells, as they come along. Not down at the 3 minute and the 1 minute where we're trying to predict candles and this, that, and the third. No, we got to be in line with a trend. Okay. So how do we break down the BYOB cash out strategy? Simply put, all right, it starts on the 15-minute time frame. All right. If any of you guys recognize this trade, I exampled this morning on our 9 a.m. indices call, right? Because we had a really good opportunity to watch a buy and a sell that were both authorized by the strategy really close together. All right. It's all about being aware and position, being disciplined and focused, getting emotionally attached to I'm bored or I'm whatever it is whatever mental obstacle you've put in your own way, right? Because guys, that was the key for when I first joined in, right? I was committed to being coachable. All right. My whole life I've been kind of hard-headed, and I finally decided, like, hey, these people know what they're talking about. They're making money. Let me follow their example for once. All right. We have a clear-cut strategy. All right. So let's go back to today's example from earlier. I'm just gonna go ahead and delete this one out. All the lines and everything before were just to example how many times this really happens throughout the day. This is just one pair, okay? So BYOB cash out strategy. What we have to regard first is our 15-minute time frame, okay? And what we're looking for is areas of value. Now, what are those? Those are our 20 and our 80. Our stochastic, what you see here on our full screen, is our first and leading indicator. It is the first step to the strategy. All right. Now, let me just shout out Miss Tanya Anderson on Tuesday evenings in the same time slot. She does a really great job of presenting the strategy to you from a basics perspective. So if you seek more clarity on the strategy, then be sure to tune in on Tuesday evening. All right. So what we look for though is those areas of value around the 20 and the 80. We look for buys around the 20 and we look for sells around the 80. Okay. What we need for the strategy is for the blue line to cross over the red in an upward momentum when identifying a buy. Okay. And when identifying a sell, we need the blue line to cross over the red in a downward momentum. Now, here's a disclaimer for you. The cash out strategy is not always going to react like this. We don't need you trying to memorize exactly, like mimic what I'm doing here. All right. It just so happened that today, as I was monitoring the charts and all that, we do. Okay. And there was opportunity throughout these time spaces for this to happen. Okay. So I don't want you looking for, the big rises and the big drops. These are just really good examples next to each other of what we're trying to identify. Okay. So buys, blue line cross over the red and upward momentum around the 20. And for sells, blue line cross over the red and a downward momentum around the 80. Our second indication is in our Heikin-Ashi candles. These are trend candles, you guys. They are trend candles. Okay. So being in that, I'll get to that later. Trends your friend. Okay. Our second indication is our Heikin-Ashi candles, you guys. And our area of value amongst these indicators are going to be our flat-sided candles. Okay. Now, I'm not talking about having two flat sides. All right. We only need one of the sides to be flat. But when identifying a buy, we need the bottom of that candle to be flat. All right. No wicks. Like you see how this candle right next to it, let's full screen our candles, right? You see how this candle's got a wick here on the bottom and the top? We need our candle to be flat, all right? Now, when it comes to a sell, we need our candles to be flat on the top, okay? Flat on the top. Again, I'm not advising you to always look for the strategy to happen back and forth like this. We're just going to thank our Heavenly Father that this example was provided for us in such a manner today. Shout out to the market, right? So our third indicator, you guys, is our PSAR flip, right? This little dot, these little dots, right? Whereas in before the strategy triggered here, the dots were traveling above the candles. Right when we had that blue line cross over the red and an upward momentum, you see around here around our 20, we had our flat bottomed green candle, and we had this PSAR flip, you guys. Okay, so what do we do from here? We take it to the hour to make sure that we're trading with that trend. To make sure that we're trading with that trend. Now, let me bring something in the picture here. Let me bring something in the picture. I'm going to bring this other line that we had back right here. Tuesdays is for our basics call. Wednesdays or Thursdays, we're getting into a little bit more advanced of the skill set. Okay. I want you guys empowered with this skill set though. All right. At the 1 hour, we are trying to identify what looks like. We don't need all the same indications that we needed on the 15-minute, you guys. We just need to be in that looks like territory at our 1 hour. All right. Now, what does looks like look like? Now, for our example for our sales, that first sell that we had exampled, you see down our stochastic, how we're pointed down, right? Let me full screen that. You see how we've got this nice curve down, right? We were selling, all right? Now, right here where we had this crossover and curve up, you see where we had this, our line, our arrow dropped, we were buying. Our stochastic is a momentum indicator, all right, you guys? It is a and our only leading indicator. This is why we regard it first whenever we're in these conversations, when we open up our chats, no matter what we got going on, you guys. This is our leading indicator, all right? So we got to regard down here. What's the stochastic telling us? We're pointed up. Now, remember, we can't see none of this. This big hump, we can't see none of this. All we got is the fact that we're crossed over, crossed up. We're pointed in that upward momentum. That's all we got. We're in that looks like territory. We're down here by this 20. We should be looking for buys. We shouldn't be looking to get in these sales down here at the 20, right? We're looking out for buys. That's how we value this area, okay? Now, if I can bring you in the line beneath this this red candle or this red arrow right here, where price action started to sell, let's go back to our 15-minute. Because that's what the 1 hour is good for, you guys. Where we seek a direction from our 4 hour, the 1 hour is where we seek what's currently happening. Now, like the 4 hour candles, that's a lot of time space in between like the open and the close, a lot of activity, right? There's 4 complete hours, all right? So we come to that hour time frame seeking confluence just to really be in line with what's going to be happening with the present scope, right? Now at this 1 hour, you can see where we had bought from where our strategy had enacted, right? And again, this is BYOB cash out without any acknowledgement of support and resistance, trend lines, none of that, right? we're up here by the 80, right? We're in that area of value where we're not looking to get into any more buys. All right. We're up here. The strength for that buy was down here. Okay. So now up here around the 80, we should be looking out to get into sells. All right. If we're not actively in this buy, we're looking to get into a sell, right? If you haven't cashed out, whatever. Anyways, looks like in this space, right? We have we're still pointed up, right? So we had to dive a little bit deeper into it. Okay. What we can see is when we look to the left, we've reached a familiar space. And this is how we get into creating support and resistance. We've reached this familiar space, right? We are at a resistance. We're at a resistance, right? So this is a space where we should be looking for price to go in the other direction. What does looks like, all right? Now, you guys, we could go on and on and on about the strategy, really dive deep into all the different levels that we speak to. Like I've said so many times, not everybody in the gym is pumping the same weight. All right. We're speaking to all levels of skill set. All right. So let's move forward, because from the 1 hour, we still got a job that we have a duty to do. Down to the 5-minute we go. And this is where we seek our entry. You know, the 15-minute is not enough. The 1 hour is not enough. The 5-minute is where we get in to start seeking those entries. And if you guys find yourselves later on down in your skill set really privy to a higher understanding of this market strategy, we're dropping down to 3 for those precise, excellent entry spaces, right? But now for my beginners, I want you dropping it in at the 5-minute, okay? Getting used to pullbacks and corrections, okay? Now, as the strategy is copywritten, we're going to our first 10 pips and cashing out. What does that mean? After the decimal, here is our pip count, right? Those first 4 digits are our pip count, and the 5th being our pipette. We don't really want to give any weight to that, okay? Our pip count is here in the first 4 numbers after the decimal, all right? And what we got to be ready to do is, if we're looking for sells, we've got to subtract 10 from these last 2 digits, all right? Or from this whole number, we're just subtracting 10, all right? Or if we're looking for a buy, we're adding 10 to that number, okay? Adding 10 to that number, and we're cashing out there. My beginners, we're cashing out there, okay? Now, for those of you that have operated in discipline, all right? We're in education, discipline, patience, and excellence, right? So a little bit of gems from my affirmations, right? For those of us that are operating in higher understanding and really coming for our whys. We're not just waiting on somebody to rescue us, somebody to throw us a signal or something like that. Like, you guys, if I have it my way, you won't even need this call, all right? You will be excellent operators in the market, and you can cash out just exactly as you need. Now, the right ones that thirst for education and thirst for skill set, the ones that really see the opportunity from this, you guys naturally are going to gravitate towards the education, right? But for those of you guys that, you know, you just want that carrot to stop dangling from you by your employers, you know, whatever your why is, you want to supplement your income, your retirement, whatever you got going on, you guys. I encourage you strongly to dive into those playlists, dive into the education, and really get a grasp for understanding, because the possibilities with this are limitless. When you really get into understanding support and resistance, zones, everything we got going on, we've been talking about, you guys, I'm telling you. Now, let's take a step back. Let me get me a sip of my water. I'm going to regather myself. All right, because we've got a topic to address tonight, right? And that is stop loss. Let's go ahead and pull up a pair that we're going to be using tonight. And let's get in the mind to work, right? Stop loss, stop loss, stop loss. If you guys feel the need to operate in your MetaTraders without stop loss, you know, feel free to hit me up on Facebook, and I'll send you a little QR code. It'll send you directly to my Cash App. All right. we supporting the whole movement here, and all of us are volunteer leaders. All right. So just go ahead. If you don't care for stop loss, hit me up on Facebook. I'll send you my QR code and we'll get that money directed properly. Okay. Because without a stop loss, you guys, you're gambling. We're operating in that lottery mindset. Like we're out here trying to prove a point. Like we just, I don't know. I really don't relate to that mindset. So I can't tell you what you're thinking, right? But if you guys are in the market without stop loss, you know, you're risking it. You're risking all your money. Stop loss is exactly like that. It's a not so Latin term. Stop the loss. The, like all the concepts that we talk about, really, guys, we overcomplicate ourselves. All right. We as human nature, we overcomplicate ourselves. All right. The support and resistance, the trend lines, all of this, you know, there was no advantage that I was given. There was no secret sessions and all that that catapulted me to my understanding of the strategy and everything. You guys, I was just like you. You know, the access I had was to the calls and to the YouTube channel, right? And you know, what I noticed is that I was laying down my support and resistance. I was laying down my trend lines. I was asking questions. And the only thing I was hearing across the board is like, man, you know what you're doing. You know what you're doing. You're following the concepts. You know what you're doing. All right. It's as simple as that sometimes, you guys. This is why we've appropriately labeled our book that has been published, Hidden in Plain Sight. You know, that's why our radio broadcast on rejoice904.com is titled Hidden in Plain Sight Radio. All right, you guys. We don't want to get into overcomplicating this. And as we get into talking about stop loss, guys, I want you thinking of it like that again. Stop the loss. All right. Now, when it's concerning our strategy, let's pull that back up. All right. When it's concerning our strategy, let's get to that 15-minute into our, we need a candle perspective here this time. All right. When we're operating with a strategy, let's delete all these ones and go to a really strong trend that we had. Because ultimately that was with the bearish move that this pair has been going with anyways. All right, talking strategy, you guys, we're placing our stop loss outside of our support and resistance. All right, take yourself to the left. Now don't, or outside of our PSAR. I don't want you putting your stop loss on your PSAR. Okay, don't put it right there on it. You know, I want you coming outside of that. All right, bring yourself to the left. All right, and get a real eye for market activity in the left. Look for those common touches, those common spaces. All right, where is it that we are invalidating this trade? When we look at our stochastic, you guys, let's come to our 4-hour. All right, look down here. Well, I guess I need to put a line there, right? Right now, we didn't have this information up to here, right? We're still down here at this 20. You know, where I've dropped this line at is pretty vague because I dropped it at the 4-hour. It's not going to be right there on top where our strategy was, right? But in this space, you guys, we acknowledge that price action is still selling. If you guys see a lot of the times on our 930, we enter into these spaces right here at the cross, like where we're crossed over. On our 4-hour, you guys, this doesn't represent the same activity that happens at the 15-minute. All right, you guys, it doesn't represent the same activity, right? This represents more so at the 4-hour. We've got to wait for this push to be in that buy. All right. So down here at our 15-minute, where we're looking out for that strategy. Oh, hey, it did land on top of it, right? Cool. we're still notified that we're in that sell. We haven't come out of that momentum yet, right? When we come to that 1 hour, right? We weren't looking to get into any buys, right? So we were looking out for that sell. Now, a lot of us are looking to trade the strategy, to trade market structure in a manner that allows us to walk away from our trades, return to our normal lives, live the freedom that we're all talking about. We don't want to come back to our charts and do this for another job, right? No, I mean, some of us like working, some of us like actively going for more. Some of us acknowledge how far we are away from retirement, all that, you know what I'm saying? But for some of us, like even on me, there's days I want to be able to trade and walk out, and I gotta take my wife to work, or I gotta pick up the kids to practice, or I gotta help my brother out, or there's all type of things that happen throughout my day, and I want to be able to walk away from my trade, without the fear of coming back and seeing zero in my account, right? I worked really hard for that account. And if you let it, the market will take away every single thing that you have earned if you just don't, if you're not here to steward that, right? And we appropriately steward our finances, our trades with stop loss. Okay. We're not taking this for advantage. All right. So again, when we're talking about the cash out strategy, you guys, I want you coming outside of the PSAR, outside of the PSAR. It's really common, that trades, when they're in their corrections, they wick and they touch right there on the PSAR. So we want to give room outside of that, right? We want to be sure that we're breaking away from this initiative, right? We were in this cell for a really long time at this point still, okay? Now, let's come to a relevant example outside of the cash out strategy, because we're talking about market structure when we're on here in the lab with me, right? We're talking market structure when we're in the lab, especially when our indices, right? We're talking market structure. We're not looking for the strategy, right? So let's talk stop loss. I placed this one here for you guys while we were actively on our trade. And just like I've had commented to me before, how many people have had their stop loss hit? It gives people a little room to be shaky on stop loss. I get it. How many times has anybody come or set a stop loss, your trades hit that, but you've come back to your analysis only to see that it's played out? Keep in mind, you guys, I have not altered this trade as we saw it on the 9:30 call, or at the 9 a.m. call. I'm sorry, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. We have our indices profit call. Nobody's been out here working. Let's see it in the chat, you guys. I'll give you a couple more seconds. I know there's a delay there. Nobody's got to be afraid to be wrong here. I got myself on the table. All right, you guys, let's stop gambling out there, right? Demo accounts or not, let's stop gambling, all right? Because what I'm showing you here even is I'm subject to these same conditions. Like I said, I laid this analysis down for you here this morning. I told you exactly why I intended to stop the trade, because right here we were at our resistance, right? We were at our resistance, right? And we were having market activity that suggested we were coming for that buy, right? I think it was better represented on the 5 minute, right? We got there and we started having activity that suggested that we were going to start rejecting off of that trend line, right? And I expressed that to you guys. We started talking about stop loss, right? It's been a part of our conversation for some time, right? Now, the lessons, especially on US indices, we'll pause for comment. I was wrong many times with my trades, hitting the stop loss too soon. So I appreciate you giving clarity on this. Yeah, I mean, I tell you guys all the time, all of our journeys are so similar. We don't need to overcomplicate what we see just because these charts look unfamiliar to us. You know, it's an amnesty moment, you guys. None of us grew up getting taught technical analysis in high school, right? I mean, unless you went to some crazy private, no, I don't know what they got going on in them Illuminati type circles or whatever. But like normal people, public school, what we got going on over here, we freaking nobody was teaching us uh uh technical analysis at my high school, right? I don't know any of my cousins, my friends. There, like I know some people that made some money in their lives, and nobody ever, like never heard of it, right? So it's okay. It's okay. We got it. We got to be humbled. All right. Another comment. I was so glad that I had my stop loss because I was so happy that I was in profit. Then 1 hour later, one loss, all profit, or I lost all profit. If it wasn't for a stop loss, I would have been wiped out. Man, I'm telling you, especially if you guys like when you get into more further into your seasons and you're understanding and you're operating with higher lot sizes, you guys, you have to be able to operate professionally and efficiently through the market. All right. Do you think that there is a single institutional trader out there just willing to risk them real millions of dollars? Right. We're not talking about trades that happen and like they're not catching pips and points for $10 or $600 or $1,400. You guys, I've seen screenshots of trades of $10,000, $70,000. You guys, millions of dollars in profit. You guys, and as quick as you make it, you lose it even faster, right? Comment, I am still unfortunately hitting my stop loss more often than in profit. So looking forward to learning more. Great. That's why we're here. That's why we're here. Uh, so stop loss is going to keep you positioned for your trades where your analysis is really spot on, right? Just because your stop loss, if you've hit that stop loss, doesn't mean your trade was wrong. Keep on keeping on with like how I told you guys at 9:30. It's like, man, you got to expect that buy. We got to be positioned for those buys. We got to be looking out for those buys. I've been very bullish on these movements here recently, right? We've been creating these higher highs, even as rough as that pattern has been. Let's get down here to our current activity, right? Even as rough as that has been up to this point, I've been along with this bullish sentiment this week, right? Now, uh, when it got to this morning and I was advising that trade, clearly I just wasn't ready for that entry just yet. I didn't have that pinpoint entry just yet. Okay. But I wasn't gonna risk another, let's see, from my stop loss. Let's see how much further just from the stop loss. Just from the stop loss. All right. Because we talked about that this morning. Like you're subject to everything in the market when you're losing, right? So right there's an additional 60-point loss, right? But let's talk about where we're entering that trade, because it was around here that we were off at that resistance, right? I thought we had that great vision for that momentum, right? But clearly we didn't have alignment somewhere. Clearly we didn't have alignment somewhere, right? So let's talk about how much had I not hit that stop or gone to that stop loss, I could have been at loss for, right? You guys, a whole 200-point loss, and that's not even even counting for any lot sizes or anything, right? That's just black and white. If I at a one, coming mid-range through this candle, right? Because these are all lagging indicators. We got to consider pip reaction times and this, that, and the third, right? Without that stop loss, I'm not just losing a couple of points. I'm not gonna get into intimately telling you guys nothing, but I'm not just losing a couple of points. I'm risking a whole 200-point movement there, right? That's a whole emotional curve for some of you guys. A lot of you guys account balances if you're operating in excellence and efficiency, the way we've been advising you, your account balances aren't even large enough to handle that correction, right? But that didn't mean that, hey, I'm out of the count, right? My analysis, like, I'm not crazy. I'm not crazy. You know, I know some crazy people. I'm not crazy. I know they say crazy people don't know they're crazy, but well, we're just gonna ignore what I'm saying then, right? I'm saying either way, you guys, I've had it happen to me enough times where that speed, like in my educational journey, you guys, where I'm telling you, you hit that stop loss, but your analysis is not wrong. I told you guys before when I was journeying on towers, how I was coming back to the room at the end of after my 16, 18-hour day. Mind you, I laid my analysis down early in the morning because I had to do this all before work, right? And I'm coming back to the charts, and my analysis was correct. All right, you guys, we have to trust our trades the way we analyze them. All right. Just because you hit your stop loss does not mean, hey, enter a trade in the opposite direction. Do not do that. Stay true and keep an eye out for your analysis. If your analysis doesn't work out, then wipe your hands with it, move forward, keep on keeping on. All right. Because you haven't wiped out your account, you're still in position to take care of it when you see those things happening. You know, if I had been all emotional and wiped out and in my feelings, then I wouldn't have been down here still keeping an eye out, you guys, for those happenstances, right? Those flat bottom green candles. I'm looking for that buy, right? I'm looking for that buy. Our entry on our indices is at our 3 minute, right? If I'm sitting here in my feelings, I'm not looking at my chart. I'm not actively like, you, I don't know what y'all do when y'all feelings, but I remember like back in the day when I used to take a nap, I used to go play some dominoes. My brother go see how he was doing. I'd find any excuse to do anything. I just wanted to be in my feelings, and I was missing out on so much, you guys. I was missing out on so much. That's why we tell you, we are in real time, very much so, coming for so many different aspects of your life. We want to shift you guys. Let this be your therapy for real. Let this be your therapy. It's going to challenge you to be patient. How many of you are impatient in your current relationships? Don't raise your hands. That's not part of the class. Just answer that to yourselves. How many of you are patient in your relationships? What exercises do you have to improve that patience? And I'm not talking about just in like boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, and wife. I'm talking about friends, your siblings. How many of you just impatient people by nature? What exercises do you know of that help you better your impatience? I read this thing today that actually valued intelligence on different scales, right? There's different levels of intelligence. It's not just about having a high IQ. You have an IQ, an EQ, an AQ, and I forget what the other one was, but the EQ or SQ, a social quotient, right? Um, uh, the emotional quotient, you guys, that EQ, you guys, is part of your intelligence factor. All right. What are you doing to exercise that aspect of your intelligence, being better at your emotional responses to events, right? Are you a reactionary person? Or are you a proactive person, right? Let's challenge that patience with your money, right? With this skill set. This skill set is telling you very, very real that uh that what you call it, that it's gonna force you to be patient. 1 second. So you guys, we're growing and exercising in patience here. All right, you guys, we're growing and exercising in patience here. All right. So let's get into some topics of discussion. All right, let's get into some topics of discussion. All right, let me just get your attention. If you've got a notepad, here's a good time to go ahead and break that on out. If you take digital notes, all right, then go ahead and do that. I don't want us just staring at a chart here, like with proper use, right? So I need your undivided attention, everybody. Okay, everybody. So stop loss is important because our positioning in the market is important and can make your trades really disrespect your analysis, right? We can bring up the chart back for this topic, right? My analysis at 9:30 was for this buy, right? But where are we at in the market, right? We're at this resistance. Let's go up to that 4-hour. We're analyzing the candles here. Squinch this on in. All right. If I delete all these lines and cut out that image, right? But all the information we had this morning was, are we at the end of the candles? Okay, I'm doing the whole wrong thing. I mean, it's still in line with that point. But let's talk about where we're at in the market. All right, we're referring to this red line. When we look over to the left, you guys, look at the like this low that we're in. Look at the significant place that we're at in the market, right? Look at what happened the last time we were at this place in the market, right? This is a significant support. This was once an area of significant breakthrough. Look at how far we made it away from that support line before returning to it, right? We were at a significant low, okay? There was nothing at the bottom of this trend line that should have told us we were continuing to look out to sell, right? And as we saw that analysis in our at a 9:30 call. Now, as I said, your position in the market can really have a way for making your trades disrespect your analysis. Now, my analysis wasn't wrong, but there was still some push there. Whether it wasn't from the fundamentals today. We didn't have any red folders in our news, any releases, but there's still a part of analysis that we have to regard, right? What's the third type of analysis? We've got our fundamental analysis that comes from our news, our technical analysis that we see here on the charts, and all my traders, all my 222s that have been on these calls. What's our third type of analysis? Starts with the S. I don't want anybody to feel too pressure or nothing like that. So I'll give you the clue. Exactly. Sentimental analysis. And here at those extreme lows, you're very much so still subject to that sentiment. There's still some fool somewhere behind his computer committed to that sell, pushing price action down, right? While all of our educated master traders, everybody who really knows what they're doing is looking out for that buy, patiently waiting for that. There's still market activity that was pushing that sell down, and the market has to react to every single order placed, you guys. That's where you see down at the wick, that one Lone Star Ranger, when Chuck Norris entered the trade, it was way down here, right? Chuck Norris entered currency exchange right there. You feel me? Because he was getting his way. He cashed out down here. He said, I'm not losing. I'm Chuck Norris. All right. And he cashed out down here at the bottom of this trend, right? Now, for the rest of us that don't have superpowers, we were out here looking to get into this buy, right? We were looking to get into this buy. So we weren't wrong, but all it was is this positioning at the market. We were still subject to the sentiments of the market. All right. Now, also the fundamentals of the market, right? If we've got red folders happening, or we've got a lot of highly impactful news coming around, you guys, this is why we check our news sources, right? While we're constantly in Forex, if nothing else, Forex Factory, FX Street, and my FX book. If nothing less, we are in these news sources, you guys, making sure that when we're in our trades, it's not at the presence of a red folder. All right, we've not gotten any speeches coming up right here around when we're trying to enter into a trade. All right, because those can impact your trades. All right, Now, that doesn't mean just because these events happen that you have to just automatically get out of your trade. A lot of you guys are going to be operating an excellent execution here really soon. All right. And you're not going to want to be selling yourself short, just hopping out of trades just because some guy decides to talk in front of a wooden podium 9,000 miles across the water from you, right? You're committed to your understanding, your excellent and your execution. You're tried, tested, and have had consistency, and you know what you're doing, right? So we're operating stop loss just on the happenstance that when we come to those events, that what you call it, that we're not blowing our account. Stop loss also helps you keep profit, you guys. All right, here's that trade, right? Here's that trade. By the guidelines of support and resistance, we were only taking this trade in between here, in between this space. Now I know you guys just seen me drop that really quick. I didn't look to the left. Been doing this for a little bit. All right, so you're just gonna have to trust me on this one. I don't want to just get like waste any more time on that. All right, we're only trading to here, right? But let's look at the stochastic. I'm not even sure at this point, but let's look at the stochastic. Let's go right here where we ended our trip, where we only had authority to go to. Let's delete this line, go up to that 1 hour and see what was cooking, right? Get into that stochastic. Now, I'm gonna need you guys to accurately view this line, all right? Right here is the presence of where we're looking at. Let me see if I can zoom that in, make this bigger so we can see right here where this makes contact, right? We're still buying. We're still like, we still had so much room in that hour to buy. Let's look at the 4 hour. Let's look what happened. We were still buying, right? Who wants to get out of a trade when we've got such strong indications that we're still buying? Anybody? Again, I'll hook you up with that Cash App QR, all right? Who wants to do that, all right? So let's talk about how stop loss continues to give you advantage in the market, right? When we're talking about our U.S. indices, we've got back to this, all right? When we're talking about our U.S. indices, our field of play is down at our 30-minute, all that kind of good jazz or whatever, you know. Our stop loss that was once down here moves up to our support and resistance as it's laid. Like this is the area we want to analyze, right? We've pushed up this great move. We're starting to see this correction. You know, we don't want to get out of the trade. How far can I take this trade before like having to commit to jumping out of it, right? Now, when we get to tightening up on our support and resistance, when we get to looking to the left, right? Let's delete this line, all right? Let's look what happened at this space, at this low, right? This low was once a high. I'm gonna delete this line too. This low was once a high. This was the breakthrough area for that trade, all right? So what we know is that now, because we understand support and resistance, price action now lives above this support, right? What once was a resistance is now a support, okay? Now, we don't want to be dipping for pips and analyzing like really tight like that, okay? So we make sure that we tighten up when we're analyzing our support and resistance so that we're not getting out of trades too much. This was simply just a retest of that as a support, right? But where do we add our stop loss? Where do we put that stop loss? We're looking to the left, and then that's where we're getting to those tight spaces, right? This is the only opportunity that you have to make value of the tip of that wick, all right? Because we want to give more room for opportunity for our trades to succeed. Just like we want to give room and opportunity for our children to fail and succeed. You know, we don't want to be right there at the tip waiting for them to fail, waiting for them to like to yap up on them and jump on their backs, all right? We want to give them room to fail and learn from their mistakes, right? So we give our trades that same room of opportunity, all right? Don't sell yourselves so short. If you can notice like how this is in line with our PSARs, right? Pause for please also talk about the trailing stop loss. This is exactly what I'm talking about right now. This is exactly what we're talking about right now. We entered our trade down here, right? We profited all the way up to right here. The stop loss down here, like we've moved so far away from stop loss down here. I'm not worried about, coming back down here. We broke through a whole support and resistance line right here. Okay, price action, if you're still holding on to a trade down here, that's like days on down the road. All right, days on down the road. All right, so trailing stop loss occurs when you've broken through your area of support and resistance, right? And you still have value in that trade, just like we saw on our 1 hour and our 4 hour. We were still directly in a buy at this time, right? You want to raise that stop loss up, right? Raise that stop loss up right outside that support and resistance. Our support and resistance is not operating. We're not using it as tightly as we are using our support and resistance. But that stop loss, we want to give room for our activity. Right here, we're still looking for entry into that buy, right? Our stop loss isn't down here anymore. Okay, our stop loss is down here because now we're wagering all this profit we made. This is what you call the trailing stop loss. Moving without, you go into your MT4, you hit modify on your trade, and you delete your stop loss, and then you move it from down here up to here. What is that? 737. That's the stop loss for that right there. Okay. Now this is a historical trade. Don't none of you guys, like we don't have the authority for that. I'm not dropping support and resistance and stop losses for you guys right now. All right. No, I haven't analyzed that and the authority to teach that to you. This is all educational, Okay. But I've got some more talking points for you, all right? Because stop loss is important because nobody is right all the time. Not one person. It's been about 2,000 years since we started following, a little bit over 2,000 years since we started following the story of the one man that was perfect, right? And since then, there's not been a single other individual that has been, right? No one is always right. If you guys have had advice from any other educator before that tells you, oh, you don't need stop loss. Oh, I don't operate at stop loss. Man, you're talking to somebody that's gambling. I don't care how excellent their execution is. That I'm glad it's worked for them up to this point, but they're always at risk for blowing their account if they're operating like that. Okay. No one is right all the time. I expressed that currency exchange price action is just like a digital person a while back, right? I expressed that to you guys. And again, just like a real person, this digital person, you can't always expect it to act or behave accordingly, right? It's just like humans. I go tell my 6-year-old to do something, she does the complete opposite. Took 13 to 6 all the way down to 4 months. It's like, why do I even spend time talking? You feel me? It's like, let me just let you guys go out there, flourish, and mess it up. Uh, but nonetheless, I mean, they behave. They're not bad kids or nothing like that. But like I said, I give them that space for them to mess up because I can't always expect them to act accordingly to like civilized, mature behavior. You know what I mean? This price action buddy of ours is just like that. It's not always going to act accordingly. We are subject still to the position in the market and impact by the fundamentals and sentimentals of the market. There are always factors that we can't see, you guys, and this is why we're not out here. This is why we're out here trying to catch pips and not Pokemon. All right, we want to take responsible trades, you guys. We want to take responsible trades. If we hit our stop loss, if we got to take that lesson, then cool. It's all right. If we just got to take if we have to take a step back and reanalyze what's going on, that's perfectly fine. All right. This isn't like Pokemon. All right. You ain't got to catch them all. The few that you do catch can bring you wealth, you guys. If you can consistently employ this skill set, employ this strategy, employ market structure and all the things that we talk about, you guys, you really like that what you do capture can be so much more Like, you guys learning how, like, if you can become consistent, you can learn how to twin trade. You can learn how to enter your trades multiple times. You don't ever have to sit through another correction. All right. You can just know when to enter these trades. And you know, even more importantly, so when to stay out of them. Okay. Stop loss keeps you from trying to prove a point, right? Down here at the 9:30 bell, I wasn't trying to prove that we were buying. I was waiting on us to buy. Okay, I wasn't trying to prove that. I wasn't gonna sit in here and be willing to risk, because there's no telling how far the sentiment takes you. You guys, when you're up there at the 4 hour and you find yourselves in these little curves around the 20, you could enter into an oversold condition from there. You really could. All right. Stop loss is going to keep you from being subject to those happening. All right. There is a certain market psychology that we're going to get to talking about later on down the road, that you got to respect, you guys. All right. You got to respect it. All right. Because it don't respect you. So whatever point you come proving, this is like you sitting here trying to talk over it's like being in the army and trying to overtalk first sergeant, like overtalk the battalion CO. No, no, man, you had a line. You had a line. Go ahead and front lean and rest position. All right. I'm telling you guys, the stop loss is going to keep you from trying to prove a point. All right. We don't want to get emotionally attached to these trades, and not operating with stop loss is going to have you all in your emotions. Right. Um, Stop loss can point out if all you're struggling with is a terrible trade entry. Just like right here today, you guys, what I analyzed right there on the call was just a poor entry. You know, my analysis wasn't wrong. You know, beautiful day, all that good jazz. You know what I mean? But my entry was just wrong for that time frame. There was something I missed about my analysis. And when we got down to that 3 minute, we saw that activity, right? I didn't have that flat bottom candle that I was looking for. You know, I saw it on my 5 minute, but I didn't see it on that 3. Right. And that's just that's an indice. That's an indice thing there, you guys. Okay. But stop loss also can teach you your most valuable lessons. When to step back from your trades, you guys, when to stay out of trades, you guys. I'm telling you, 555s, if so far this has brought you any clarity, drop it in the chat. 555s, if this has brought you any clarity this evening about the topic, right? Because stop loss can really teach you valuable lessons, right? Again, it was a really good lesson today that stop loss doesn't mean your trade is wrong. I'm telling you guys, the way the Lord's working, the examples he's providing us, it's crazy. All right. It didn't mean that our trade was wrong. All right. It just means that we had a terrible entry at that time. All right. It has a really good way of showing you what doesn't work. All right. And honestly, that's what troubleshooting's about. Do I have anybody in the chat? Anybody, electricians, any tech savvy guys, anybody that has any engineers, anybody that has to employ troubleshooting for a living? Yeah, praise the Lord for stop loss, for real. Anybody that employs troubleshooting for a living, you guys, that's all troubleshooting is really learning lessons by what doesn't work. Okay, this is why we encourage you guys, employ you guys, advise you guys to be in your demo account while you're learning these lessons, while you're learning to employ these skills. All right, because if your trade account is not at a balance to handle these lessons, you guys, then you're wiped out. You're waiting until you get another opportunity to invest back into the market. And I don't know about you, but when I come into the game, I wasn't here with just a whole bunch of money to keep on randomly investing into the market, right? So we want to learn these lessons in our demo and not in our live accounts. Okay. Uh, Properly employed, stop loss will strengthen the understanding of trade entries, right? Because just like I said, you're going to see exactly what doesn't work, and you're going to have the opportunity to enter into your trade the way it's properly analyzed, right? Because you haven't blown your account, you're still in the game, right? Comment: I don't enjoy troubleshooting, but that's the only way to solve various electrical problems. For sure, for sure. You know, it's a challenge. Yeah, definitely. I personally, I get adrenaline from those challenges. Like my troubleshooting used to be at 4 a.m. pitch black on the top of the tower. I'm trying to figure out which fiber is not working, but I've got 26 radios up here. Oh man, that just flashed back to a really terrible story, like a really bad day. But it if we're not on the job anymore, all right, we're not troubleshooting dangerous voltage. We're not troubleshooting trying to perform for a quarterly review or for a raise. All right, now we're employing that skill set that you have for troubleshooting uh in a financial aspect. All right, and if you allow your troubleshooting to get you all the way down to executing those awesome trade entry points, those amazing I'm telling you guys, like I told you, capturing 80 points on an indice in a consolidated market, is really great. Now, when we get into trend like markets, you guys, let's look what that US 30 ultimately did, right? From the bottom of it to the top of it, all right? Because that was the high anyways, right? From the bottom of it to the top of it. For every single point captured, you guys, that's almost an 800 point trade, just because we were in that trend space. You know what I mean? And that happens all the time. That happens all the time. Now, we're not going to capture, we're not looking to capture all 800 of those points or whatever, maybe 200 at a time, 300 at a time, 400, whatever our analysis supports. You know what I mean? When we really understand, especially those entry, you guys, from our tried and tested analysis, from allowing ourselves to fail, not being emotional. Like that's why we want you in those demo accounts, you guys, because you're not emotionally attached to that money. Okay, why we don't want you emotionally attached to the lessons you learned. All right. If you lose, pick yourself up and try again. Dust yourself off and try again. Try again. Try again. First you don't succeed. I'm telling you guys. All right. Nobody's playing around here. All right. Like I said before, hitting stop loss does not automatically mean that your analysis is wrong. Now, does it mean you got to go back to the drawing board? Yes, you need to take a couple minutes to really re-understand the position of the market. Is this an opportunity to analyze price action going in the opposite way I thought it was, or do I just need to exercise more patience here? All right. And more importantly, so with the base understanding, you guys, let's open this in a currency pair. I said we were going to use it, so let's use it, right? What's that one we were, that that Euro USD, right? For the most basic exercising of stop loss. All right, you guys. I need you guys for one to understand support and resistance. All right, I need you guys to understand support and resistance. Lay that down on your chart. Lay that down on your chart and place your stop loss outside of your support and resistance. All right. Now I did that foolishly on the 15 minutes. So let me go back and verify that on our 1 hour. All right. That was really foolish. Let me get rid of these. I got to expand on this. Yeah. All right. So identify your support and resistance, you guys, and then place your stop losses on the outsides of those. All right. That's just for a start. Come to the left. Start looking left. Look at the left. All right. Where am I just taking some time to auto populate, or what's going on here? We just had a significant low, maybe. Yeah, it looks like we were at a significant low here. Very, very importante. Very, very importante as far as this Euro USD is concerned, right? come to the left, you guys. This is one of those the poor examples, right? All right, so it's not a poor example. It's actually a great example. What do we do from here? For one, let's get back to right where we're at. All the way up here. 4 hours. Quench that buddy in. Where did we go? Okay, here we are. And it's a great example, you guys, because all we have here is information. We are at such a significant low that buy right there shouldn't impress anybody at all. Mind you, this is a different currency pair than what we've been analyzing on the call so far. All right. But we're going to identify our support and resistance at the 1 hour, or at the 4 hour, we're at the bottom of this trend. So we got to utilize our 1 hour. Okay. Our support and resistance, you guys, even more importantly, so identify is going to be really tight in this area because we're consolidated, right? But we want to look to this information that we have to the left, these touching spaces, right? Just like you see, my lines are issued upon spaces where price action has touched, right? Above that, you can get into using your pivots, right? If you have no other references, right? And look at that right there outside of it. Now, I wouldn't go put my stop loss right on there, right? We're at a healthy place, right? We're in a healthy space, right? We have an area of opportunity to operate in, and then we have some cushion for it to go wrong. You know what I'm saying? But at a basis, we're identifying that outside of our stop loss. Now, when we're in active trades, on currency pairs, when we're in active trades and we're down at our 15-minute, right? You got to start identifying those a little bit strongly. All right. Analyze your trade actively. All right. You see how the bounds of our pivots have changed, right? But you just need to get into that active analysis. All right. So I don't want to get to too much beating up the topic. Of course, we're going to go into discussing this more on our 9 a.m. calls, and as we get into our profit calls and everything, you guys, we're going to be continuously utilizing these things, right? But just for the sake of subject tonight, like I said, I don't want to get into beating that horse. I'm really elated to see all of these 555s in the chat, you guys. I really I just love that I can bring such clarity to you guys because, like I've told you before, I want you guys in the same position, the same freedom that I'm in. All right. I've since coming off the road, I've had job offers, I've had opportunities. Sure, I've had it in mind to test the workforce. I left the workforce pretty dramatically. You know what I mean back then. Well, man, it's almost been 2 years now since I come off the road, almost in January. But you guys, I'm telling you, there's not a single penny right now that makes me want to go work for somebody and have to, like, man, like the easy money is just not where it's at. Like I don't want to be a slave to somebody's dangling carrot. No, ain't no $20 an hour job, $30 an hour job. Like you have to get me to at $100 an hour, and then you have to pay me 160 to not trade while I'm at work. You know what I'm saying? For real, because the strategy is just that powerful, you guys. This understanding of the market, you own that. You don't have to file out an application to own this. You didn't have to ask for approval. You just had to go out and test your character. Do you have the coof? Do you have the integrity? Do you have the mindset, the discipline to keep on showing up to the calls, to keep on showing up to the playlists, to keep on watching the videos, you guys, to keep on experimenting in your demo account? All right. Are you really working at building your skill set? Like I said, we're coming for a whole shift in your life. All right. We thought you just come here to learn how to trade currency, you guys, but really we tricked you. All right. We want to teach you how to strengthen your maturity in so many other aspects of your life. You guys, your patience, the way you handle and think about money, you guys, the blessings that you are going to pass down throughout the generations, the curses that are going to stop with you tonight. All right. With you committing to yourself and committing to this strategy, you guys. If you want to hear, if you want to jerk at my heart more, you're just going to have to join us on the clubhouse Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 12 p.m. Shout out Mob Squad. Shout out to the Mob Squad. Uh, because I can't just keep on pouring it all over the calls, you guys. But again, the topic of discussion was stop loss tonight. Make sure you guys are checking out our BYOB Movement Worldwide app in your Apple uh, app stores, your Google Play stores. All right, go check out on iTunes and Spotify and YouTube our artist, new type of money song BYOB Kingdom Currency. Right, make sure you're getting registered for those events and just being empowered by the movement overall, you guys. Let this encompass your lifestyle. We're here to stay. We ain't here to play. All right, you guys. This is this skill set is, I mean, you can get right or you can get left, you guys. There, you aren't the first trader and you're not going to be the last. All right, but what's going to come of your efforts is the question you got to ask. Like, were you lying to your kids when you told them like you would do anything for them? Was you playing your spouse when you said that you was really willing to go the limit? To be all that you can be for them. What they deserve. Are you really willing to test that potential that everyone's always mentioned they saw in you? All right. It's really not complicated, you guys. The steps are easy. You just got to do them. You got to perform. You got to get into it. You got to get through it. All right. Let's make sure we're on that BYOB YouTube channel, checking out our playlist while we're apart from each other. I flashed up that call schedule here earlier, you guys. I'm telling you, we're here for you. Just an army of servant leaders. All right, all volunteers, you guys, all people that just want you to be blessed by this strategy the way that we've been blessed. And all thanks to our mastermind team and our visionary, Mr. Gerald D. Rogers, and our trade whisperer, Ms. Tasha M. Dyer. You guys, without their commitment, without them doing what I'm telling you to do, you guys, we wouldn't be here. All right. We wouldn't even be here. All right. Father God, we come to you this night, Father, just thankful, appreciative, and grateful for everything it is that you do, everything you've done, and everything that you have in store, Father. Thank you again, Lord, for the opportunity for us to come together as a collective and learn from the skill set, Father God, that you have blessed us with, Lord. Dear Lord, we ask that you bless us with patience as we humbly await all of the amazing things that are to come from this BYOB movement, Lord. All the lives that are to be affected, all the lives that are to be changed, Lord. Ask, Father God, that everyone under the sound of my voice is just touched by the passion that all of our leaders have for this movement, Father God, that they're touched in their heart and in their core, Lord, to continue to push and drive for the success that they stay awake for it and they can't sleep over, Father God, that they're misinterpreting as anxiety, Father God. Speak to them, Lord, and let them know your voice. Comfort us and protect us as we part ways, Father God, is in these things that we ask and we pray in your Son, Jesus' name. Amen. All right, you guys. It's just about 10:30 and I got to get to loving on these babies and my lady. All right. So let's well, the babies are asleep, but I still gotta spend that QT with my PYT, right? So I love you guys, but that's it. This officially ends our call.